Hey! Hi. How you doing? This is the Gamertron, and welcome back to the Gamertron Show. And can we stop blaming video games for video game addiction? I know that sounds contradictory at first, but hear me out. With the massive boom of popularity for video games the past couple years, there have been more and more articles, videos, news report pieces about video game addiction and people becoming addicted to video games, and blaming the video games for these addictions, without even considering the implications behind such a statement. We can all agree that addiction is bad, addiction is wrong. It is genuinely more beneficial to not be addicted to something. So accusing video games of causing addiction, turning people into addicts, destroying people's lives, you're essentially calling the developers behind these video games, the men and women that put them together, that make them, horrible, evil people, because you'd have to be a horrible, evil, selfish person to make something that you know is going to be addictive and make people addicted and ruin their lives. I mean, that's a pretty hefty accusation to make of someone. People don't think before they open their mouths. Don't go blaming the creators for people being addicted to their products. We need to start looking inwards and start looking and caring for the people who are actually addicted. Addicts, people with obsessive tendencies and compulsions. If you are an addict to anything, doesn't matter if it's video games, television, a particular piece of food, alcohol, cigarettes, whatever, if you are an addict, if you have an addiction, then you need to take care of yourself. You need to seek out help. And you, yes you, if you have a family member or a friend who has addictive tendencies, who has an addiction, if they're not willing to help themselves, then you need to be there for them and help them. Don't blame video games and developers for your problems or someone else's problems. You've got to take responsibility for yourself. If you are playing video games to the point where your health is deteriorating, your social life is deteriorating, your financials are deteriorating, then you need to be willing to help yourself or seek out others to help you. And again, if you have a family member or a friend who you know has an addiction, doesn't matter if it's video games or not, and their health, social life, and financials are in dire straits, then you need to be willing to step in and help this family member or friend if they cannot. Video games themselves are not the problem. Video games are not causing video game addictions. It is people who have addictive tendencies and cannot control themselves. Video games are perfectly fine in moderation. Just like anything else, whether it be movie, televisions, alcohol, that's all fine in moderation. Indulge in anything excessively, and it will have negative impacts on you and the people around you. It's very, very frustrating and concerning that I'm seeing so many parents, as of late recently, complaining about their kids being addicted to Fortnite, and blaming Fortnite, blaming the video game for their kids' supposed addiction to the game. Here's a bright idea. Stop being a shitty parent and do something about it. Don't just blame the video game. Don't just blame the company. Do something! You're the parent! It's not the video game's job to teach your kid responsibility and moderation. I'm sick and tired of video games being the target. I'm sick and tired of video games being the excuse for other people's shitty behavior and decisions. It's not reasonable, it's not fair, it's not rational, and nothing gets done, nothing gets solved. People don't get better. The actual issues don't get addressed because we keep passing off blame to video games. Knock it off with the witch hunt, knock it off with the blame game, and actually try and help the people in need. So many people with addictions don't get the proper treatment and attention they need because the fucking mob is too busy looking for a bad guy to point fingers at. No, stop searching outward, start searching inward. This is a people problem, this is a mental health problem, this is not a video game problem, this is not a media problem, this is not a problem with entertainment, this is not a problem with products in general. Now is, and I say this in massive air quotes, video game addiction on the rise? Well, of course. One, gaming is more popular than ever. It's no longer a niche, nerdy thing, it's mainstream. And more shitty parents are just letting their kids play video games all day. And then the shitty, lazy parents blame the video games for their kids playing video games all day. No! Be a responsible adult. Set limits and restrictions for your kids if you don't want them playing video games all day. Be active in their lives. Don't just yell at them to go outside with them, spend time with them. That includes even playing video games with them. Be reasonable, be diplomatic, incentivize. Parenting is a job, parenting is a responsibility, and if you're not ready to handle it, then make damn sure you're wearing a condom before you do the deed. Now, of course, I must confess this is not exclusively shitty parents letting their children become addicted to video games and not showing responsibility. Of course, there are full-grown adults becoming addicted to video games. But once again, this is not on the fault of the games. Video game developers are not making these games with the intention to ruin your life. They make these games with the intention for them to be enjoyed and for them to make money off them. Look, I get it, addiction is a touchy subject. A lot, and I mean a lot of people have been genuinely hurt by addiction. Lives destroyed by addiction. It's an emotional topic, it's a heated topic, but we can't simply throw rationality and logic out the window. Also, because this is important to bring up, you are not a bad person for liking video games. You are not a bad person for playing video games, even for extended periods of time. Gaming is not a bad hobby. It is not a destructive hobby. Any and all hobbies can be destructive without a healthy dose of moderation. While video games are awesome, while you may love playing video games, while I love playing video games, it's always good to self-reflect and consider to yourself, am I spending maybe a bit too much time on video games? Am I eating properly? Am I getting the right amount of exercise? Am I actually spending time with and talking to my family and friends? When's the last time you got laid? These are all important questions to consider and ask yourself. Because while video games are awesome, while you may love video games, you, yourself, and your family and friends are more important. And lastly, to the uninformed and ignorant, video games are not the devil and the source of all the world's problems. They are pieces of entertainment, they are products. Video game developers are your average everyday working Joes like you and me, breaking their backs for that paycheck. Let us not make enemies of one another, let us not demonize one another, let us instead help one another and help each other with our own personal demons and struggles. Maybe make the world a better place, eh? I know, crazy idea. Maybe I am crazy. But maybe you're crazy too. We can all be crazy together, eh? Anyways, that's been a video. I hope you liked the video. If you indeed liked the video, anyway, please be sure to like button. The like button helps you, helps me, helps everybody involved in the video. Hit the button. Please leave a comment in the comments down below. Every comment to get in the comments, please leave a comment. What are your thoughts, feelings, opinions on the topic of this video? Let me know in the comments down below. If you want to help out and support this video, then please share it on social media, Twitter and Facebook. If you want to help out and support me directly, well, there's always Patreon. Anyways, guys, that's been a video, and I'll see you all later.